I was a police officer for 13 years.
Nick just has a crazy story. And before we get into Nick's story, anybody that's listening into, we have a lot of people that listen to this podcast that are looking for hope, that are looking for motivation, that are looking for a reason not to quit.
I medically retired from the injuries.
They don't know where to find Nick. Is somebody that God said, man, God is using you, God is restoring you.
And I thought to myself, I'm in my 30s, well, what am I gonna do? This is all that I ever wanted to do, was be a police officer.
Nick has had his fair share of rough trials.
All right, well, how about Nick? He's got an incredible story.
That. Why not help?
Let's start right now, and we're gonna find out about Nick's story.
Be part of the solution.
Retired Officer Nick Wilson.
To Nick and Dr. Williams.
Wilson, retired Hopper PD.
Hi, Nick Wilson. This is Jennifer Love. Just wanted to say congratulations.
Tommy Laren here.
First
So if you know me, you know that I love
in
law enforcement.
the
The first responder.
First responder.
First responders.
They're changing lives and saving them.
Resiliency.
It brings me a sense of gratitude. Everywhere I go, when I see Stryker, I always come back to think of this foundation and what they've been able to do for me.
Because I had a son to live for.
Talk about somebody that's been at the top or been at the pinnacle of his career and then maybe hit rock bottom and now he's climbing back up. Nick, you have a phenomenal story, man. God is using you, brother.
One of the darkest moments of his life, retired police officer Nick Wilson found hope at this ranch in Murrieta, California, where he met his service dog, Stryker. Nick was suffering from debilitating PTSD after a decade spent investigating white supremacy.
Take it away, man. Tell us about you and tell us about your story, brother.
After continual exposure to critical incidences, I never dealt with it. I never dealt with any of the traumatic events that I saw or anything I was exposed to out of the fear of stigma. What would my colleagues, what would my peers think? And I started numbing out, taking one more just to feel calm, because I didn't know how else to deal with the symptomology that comes with PTSD or anything like that. It was by far the worst experience and the worst time of my life. To know that I was a detective working narcotics, and in my professional life, you know, thriving, and in my personal life, falling apart. Just to illustrate how significant the fear of the stigmas are in the first responder community, it wasn't the first thing I thought to thank God that I didn't die. It wasn't my first question to ask God, please don't tell me I've killed somebody. The first thing that I thought of was, they're gonna know.
Wow.
My department's gonna know, everyone's gonna know, and I have no more credibility. For me, it was the continual exposure to the child deaths or the molestations or the heinous things that people in society do to each other day in and day out. You name it, I think everyone in law enforcement really kind of shares similar experiences in varying degrees. Because there's nothing more important in law enforcement than the need for peer acceptance, the need for peer solidarity. Even the small things, it changes your behavior even off duty and what you do off duty. Foremost, they're expected to be strong and stoic.
There are things my eyes just can't unsee.
Isn't it easy to criticize things that we don't understand? It's 2019. Society has evolved in all other areas. Why is it that law enforcement is the one profession where the expectation is to be robotic and to not be human? In so many levels, it takes one bad move for a police officer. Apply that idea and that concept to any other standard in a profession other than law enforcement. Doctors, how about attorneys or teachers? How about all those other things? But we don't. And it's time to continue to humanize law enforcement. We had a lot of police officers that started getting better, that learned how to sleep, that learned how to take care of themselves. That's when the officers go home and they feel like at the end of the day, they don't have anybody to talk to. Never, ever stop learning and developing your growth interpersonally and your mind. We don't abandon our partners. We show up when they call for help. But the same principle should be applied to themselves. Don't abandon yourself, especially out of fear of what others will think.